Cultural coffee brewing and celebration in Ethiopia. We would like to make you laugh about the historical connection between coffee and Ethiopians with the topic of traditional coffee brewing or preparation and celebration in Ethiopia. Producer and presenter, Gashaf Asefi. Stay with us till the end of our program. Ethiopia is the origin of coffee, according to many local, foreign experts, and historians testify. The main evidence for this truth, Ethiopia is a country with an early history of civilization in the world. The fact that it is a country where traditional coffee brewing or preparation and celebration started many thousands of years ago, before any other country in the world, and the fact that the coffee brewing system was brought down to this era. The name coffee was first obtained from Kefa, a high coffee producer in southwestern Ethiopia. In addition, it is said that the first time humans started using coffee for drinking in this area was by seeing a goat. As it is known, goat is one of the domestic animals that eat their food from trees. It is said to be around the 9th century. One day then, Khalid, the owner of the goats, is looking after the goats, eating the coffee leaves, snorting and defecating with great excitement. Khalid, the guardian owner of goats, also became happy to see his beloved goats grazing. Khalid continued to feed his goats only coffee leaves. Khalid did not stop this activity. The owner of the goats was surprised by the natural revitalizing secret of the coffee leaf. Apart from feeding the coffee leaves to his goats, he started tasting the fruit and leaves for himself. Every time he tasted the coffee fruit, Khalid also felt the excitement and happiness that was seen on the goats. Khalid said that if you spend the night without tasting the coffee fruit, you will never be happy. Gradually he became addicted to coffee, because of the substance found in coffee called caffeine. Khalid didn't want to keep the secret of the coffee leaf's natural revitalization to just himself and his goats. He went to the local monasteries and expressed his appreciation and told the monks to use the coffee fruit and they would be surprised. The monks of the monastery were surprised by the situation, because they felt a sense of awakening and happiness after tasting the coffee fruit. They made it their regular practice to drink coffee and pray for a long time without getting tired. Just like, coffee started with a goat and its guard in the Kefa province of Ethiopia for the local community, it is widely spread throughout Ethiopia and all over the world. As mentioned in the title above, Ethiopia's traditional coffee brewing and celebration has its own ritual that has been handed down from our forefathers and has been inherited with a unique and amazing cultural value. Traditional coffee brewing, preparation and celebration in Ethiopia begins with coffee picking. First, coffee is picked from farmers' coffee farm or dense coffee forests. After that, it is left to dry in the sun for a few days and then hatched by machine or human power. Hatching coffee means separating the fruit from the straw, because of coffee has its own straw and fruit. After that, it is washed well and dried again in a clean place. The second step is coffee roasting. In Ethiopia, coffee is roasted in a traditional cooking tool called bere mitad, which is made of flat iron. After heating a traditional iron pan on 3-side stove over a wood or charcoal stove, washed coffee beans are roasted on the iron pan for 3 to 5 minutes. At this time, the iron pan is very hot because of the fire, so the coffee can be flipped over the iron pan with a spoon-like tools called makuya, so that it is well brewed. A spoon-like tools makuya is a simple handheld coffee brewing tool made of thin wood or metal. Roasted coffee also emits a very strong aroma and attractive smoke. As soon as it comes out of the metal pot, this delicious and sweet smell of roasted coffee smoke is served to the people sitting around as a small coffee container, or they are made to smell the smoke. This brings a sense of excitement and happiness to those who serve the smell of the smoke. The third step is the grinding of coffee. In Ethiopia, coffee is ground or pounded with a wooden tool called mukacha. Mukacha has two parts called mother mukacha and cub mukacha. Mother mukacha or grinder means the traditional tools of coffee, which has 7 centimeters depth tanker or bowl where the ground coffee is poured and weighs 5 to 10 kilograms. Cup mukacha or grinder is a traditional hand tool that is smaller in size than the mother grinder and grinds the ground coffee in the mother grinder using human power and energy. The fourth step is boiling the ground coffee. In Ethiopia, a traditional tool used for coffee boiling or heating is called jabina. Jabina mean a traditional clay coffee maker, with black in color, wider at lower part. with a thin top and a handle ring in the middle. Jibina has a very special honor in Ethiopia. Jibina is considered a symbol of greatness. When brewing coffee, it is necessary to provide and measure the necessary materials for the work. Among them things we need to make coffee are ground coffee powder, water, charcoal or firewood, 3-side stove, jibina or pot, cups and rekbot. First, by placing 3 stand burners on the prepared stove, charcoal or firewood is ignited between them. Then, after filling the prepared jibina or pot with clean water, it is boiled well for 4 to 5 minutes on the hot stove. Then coffee powder is added to the boiling water and boiled for 5 to 10 minutes. Finally, take the boiled coffee out of the oven, and after a few minutes or so, it will be ready to drink or use. The amount of resources we use to brew coffee at one time depends on the number of users and our needs. It is especially important to balance the amount of ground coffee powder and water. There are 3 stages to brewing coffee in Ethiopia. The first balanced is prepared from freshly ground coffee and water. It is the main drink of coffee. They call it Abol coffee. The second is a type of coffee that is drunk without adding any new coffee powder and only adding water to the previous coffee grounds or residue and boiling it a second time. This is called second coffee or Tana. The third coffee is a type of coffee that is boiled by adding water to the coffee residue or sludge after second coffee drinking. This is called barika. In Ethiopia, before coffee is brewed and drunk, amazing events take place first. Among these, the coffee is cooked, the katema or green wetgrasses has traveled on the floor, the incense is burned, the popcorn is piled up, the breakfast is ready. When the coffee comes out of the oven and before pours into the cup, the coffee program opens with the traditional initiation ceremony of the older dignitaries called Meerkat or inauguration. Meerkat is an expression of good wishes or blessing in which elderly great people and religious leaders pray to their creator Exeabuyer or Allah to protect them from bad luck for the whole family as well as for the safety of the local region and the country. At the coffee ceremony, the incense is smoked and the breakfast is eaten. After the inauguration of the elders, the coffee is poured into the cups prepared according to the number of the user. Then, according to the tradition, the cup of coffee is given first to the seniors' prayers, then to the elder people and those who are of the same age as me. A cup is a traditional coffee drinking device that is small in size and is used to scoop out the brewed coffee. In Ethiopia, coffee brewing is done mainly by women according to the culture and ceremony. Apart from picking coffee from the fields or forests and providing firewood, the share of men in brewing coffee is very limited. There are also characteristics that distinguish women who brew coffee from other women. Among them are those who are skilled in coffee brewing, those who are calm in their appearance, chosen by their beauty. They wear elaborately decorated habesha dresses and wear a scarf over their hair and are commonly called kadam. Kadam women who draw coffee in habesha dresses attract the attention of the coffee audience and highlight the coffee ceremony. In Ethiopia, it is a common tradition for people to gather together and drink coffee together. The surprising thing is that the people gathered to drink coffee must drink coffee from Abol to barika or from the first to the third. When they describe this in one word, they call it maktam. It is considered that a person is not beautiful because he stops drinking coffee from Abol to barika without finishing it. As a result, a cup of coffee can take longer time to finish. In most parts of the country, coffee can be brewed and drunk up to 3 times a day, in the morning, middle day, and evening. In addition, a traditional coffee ceremony is held at various seasonal events and for guest receptions. In Ethiopia, if a new or strange person comes to your house, it is not said, "Let's eat or have lunch." Instead, he is invited to come and drink coffee at this place. After the new guest enters to the house, the coffee is cooked on the stove and served until it boils. "Let's drink coffee" is a saying that is usually called in advance according to the tradition of the country's culture. Nowadays, coffee culture in Ethiopia is different from the usual, and it is incorporating new cultures and events in addition to the old ones. In the past many years, coffee was brewed in homes and used only by elderly people. But nowadays the coffee culture is out of the house and in hotels, on the streets, even at public square. It has become a common tradition to drink coffee, from the young to the elderly. In ancient time, who used to boil coffee for neighbor to neighbor, relatives and even distant strangers gathered together to chat over coffee. But now, since coffee has appeared in hotels and on every street, it has become a great source of business and income for young people, apart from having fun while chatting over coffee. Coffee is not only a source of income inside the country, but also the country earns 70% of its foreign exchange earnings by exporting coffee to various countries of the world. Thank you for watching this video. Producer and presenter Gasha Asifai. I love you more guys.